What's up, everybody? I want to do a quick review, probably not too quick, but a little review on my 1 year experience being here in Seattle. Last Thursday was 1 year to the day, May 29th. Was it last Thursday? It was May 29th was 1 year to the day I came out here to Seattle. And I think God did too many blessings and did too many miracles for me not to at least get on here and share. A lot of people who know me, you guys supported me in coming out here. Not everybody, but a lot of you all supported me in coming out here and saw the benefits of the faith. And I was telling people, I came here from Sacramento, and when I was in Sacramento, I was sharing with people that my spirit was telling me to go to Seattle. I kept saying the Spirit of God is telling me to go to Seattle. I know when the Spirit's telling me to move, and I know that you should listen to that Spirit. So the Spirit was telling me to go to Seattle, but I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no place to stay. I didn't have any money. I didn't know anybody in Seattle. I knew a couple of people in Seattle, but nothing that was like solid friendships I had kept up or whatnot. My uncle had just moved close to the Seattle area, but he was a couple hours away, really, from where I was going to be at. But to make a long story short, I just kind of want to hit some highlights of what God did, because a lot of you all are thinking of the same thing, making a move. A lot of you all are thinking of going to a different city. A lot of you all feel the Spirit of God leading you somewhere else, and you have a lot of fear. And you know, on this channel, I'm always talking about no fear at all. No fear, all straight confidence. And a reasoned confidence. You know, you have a reason to have confidence if you're living righteously. You have a reason to have confidence. So you don't want misplaced confidence, but your miracles will match your level of faith. The miracles that happen in your life will match the level of faith you show. So with Seattle, the Spirit of God kept telling me to go. And so at first I was trying to get these youth advocacy jobs, youth mentorship jobs. And I was turning in my resume. I was turning in my letter of recommendations. And I mean, before the day was over, I would email somebody something. And before the day was over, I'd get a call. Oh man, we just, we saw your reference letters. We saw your resume. Can you come in today? I'd be like, today? I can't come in today. I'm all the way in Sacramento still. I was applying, and I was realizing every place I applied to, probably like the first 4, they all were calling me back within the day or the next day, and they would be like, hey, come on in. So I'm like, all right, if they showing love like that, and then out here in Seattle, it's like maybe $10 more an hour as far as the price, the wages. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and make that move. Let me just head on out there, make it happen, figure this thing out, get this job, and keep it moving. Now, the Spirit of God was telling me to go to Seattle. It wasn't telling me to get a job. It wasn't telling me to do that. I was doing that just based off everybody else is like, you got to get a job. You got to get a job. And I'm like, that's not really what God calling me to do personally, but I was going about it. So, funny thing, May 29th, I come out here to Seattle. My brother King come out here with me. And I had a couple of interviews lined up out here. So we get ourselves some little hotel out there in Bellevue, Washington. That's, Bill Gates territory. All this stuff out here is Bill Gates territory. Seattle has the most millionaires in a city. From what I've been told from the people out here, it's the most millionaires in a city, in a U.S. city. There's other places with billionaires, but as far as millionaires, this place is money. You can smell the money out here in Seattle. You can walk the streets and feel it. And I was like, May 29th, I was like, let me just go ahead and go. Didn't have no money. I just had enough money for the hotel, probably a little bit of food, a little something. And man, when I say I get on the bus, I took the Greyhound bus like at 11 p.m. at night. It was an overnight trip all the way to Seattle. First time getting to Seattle. I'm like 4 in the morning on the bus, and I get a check come through to my account. And when I say a check came through, I think it was like $700, and it was from the U.S. government. And it was an unexpected check. It wasn't something that I knew was coming in. They had made a mistake on something with one of my tax documents, and they returned it. So I ended up getting $700 while I'm on the bus. I'm on the bus, so I'm realizing, I'm like, okay, God, you've been telling me to go. And as I'm moving, I'm realizing He's giving me the tools I need. You know how, like, when you're in a video game, you move forward, and you can only see a certain amount. But as you move forward, you see the coins you need to pick up, or you begin to realize the different tools or the guns that you're going to need, the ammo you're going to need. But that's only as you move forward. If you only look at what's in your screen, you don't get everything. You miss a lot. But as you move forward, stuff keeps happening. So I'm like, man, as I'm going forward, if I wouldn't have brought the bus ticket, got the hotel, got those interviews, and moved forward with that, I wouldn't have been on the bus out here to Seattle and then $700 come through. I would have been back in Sacramento, $700 would have been gone by now. I was already moving in motion, and then God continued to put the right things in my life as I'm moving in motion. So get out there to Seattle. Every interview I go into, Seattle's white supremacy. Seattle is white supremacy to the core. So it's a white militant city. The city is militant. They brag about diversity. Diversity for them means, we have straight and LGBT. Diversity for them means we have white and people of color. You can have diversity and still hate black people, or hate black culture, or hate the descendants of slaves here in America. And that's really what happens here in Seattle. They brag about diversity in different ways. We have a trans man who works for us. We have a person of color who works for us. We have several women who work for us, and 3 white men who work for us. Like, it's diverse. That doesn't mean that they have love for you and your culture. And every single interview I went into, more than qualified, they called me for the interview the same day. I would be getting emails back, calls back, like, oh, we don't think you're a right fit for the job, or we think there's a better. There was one organization, Friends of Youth. I went into 2 different interviews with them. I actually did 3 interviews because I did a phone interview with them. I did a couple of phone interviews with them. And they tried to send me to 4 different departments. Every single time I would go in for the interview, they'd be like, man, we love you. We think you're qualified, but we just don't think you're the right fit for this department. Contact Rachel and she'll, you'd be a great fit for that department for the youth over here. So then I go contact them, get in with them, and it'd be the same thing. We just don't think you're the right fit, but there's another department in our company that we actually think you'd be perfect for. And so after the second one, I was like, no, I was like, I'm cool. Y'all's tripping. Y'all's tripping. I'm not about to sit here and run around. I know what my skill set is. I'll go ahead and do this independent and solo. I'll be fine. That's what I should have done when I was in Sacramento. I was like, I should have just went solo and independent already. But this goes back to that no fear. All the time, when the Spirit's leading you to do something, it comes straight from Satan. The Spirit of God doesn't produce fear. So when the fear settles in, that's what you have to conquer. You have to conquer your fear. Whenever you can conquer your fear, that's when you begin to mature as a person. Wherever you want to go in life, look at where your fear is at. Conquer your fear. And that's the direction you're supposed to go in life. So, again, long story short, a few days go by, I'm out here, me and King are out here, we're checking out the city of Seattle. And one of the things we're noticing is that there weren't a lot of black people out here. That's just the first thing. Not a lot of black people, but there was no spirit among the black people. We were saying hello to people, and it was like, that's the whole city, but including the black community. We were saying hello. It wasn't no love. It wasn't no, we'd be like, peace. We'd be like, what's good? We'd be like, what's up, man? What can you tell us about the city? People was like, they don't want to talk to us. Everyone could tell we wasn't from here. We California guys. And it's all good. It's all good. I had 4 interviews. Nothing worked out. I went back to Sacramento, got my stuff, told my family I'm going back to Seattle. I said, I don't have nothing lined up. I don't have no money. I don't have no place to stay. I'm going back. I said, that's where the Spirit told me to go. I'm going back. Because the first time I came there, I was like, I had literally just packed a few things in and hopped on the Greyhound bus. I just was like, I'm going out there. So the next time I go, remember, all this just has to do with faith. I'm moving on faith. I have nothing secure, nothing. I don't have anything. I'm just going off of spirit and faith. That's all and when you have only that to go off of, a lot of times you can see things clear. A lot of times you can see things clear when you're just going off of spirit and you don't have all the distractions. So a lot of Christian people, they were telling me, don't why? You don't have a place. That's not wise. You're not using wisdom. You're not being smart. And, I kept telling them, I was like, I can't speak with you about the wisdom and the smarts on this. I can just tell you the Spirit of God is leading me here. Only a few people really understood that. Only a couple of people really understood what I was saying and were like, go. Is the Spirit of God tell you go? Like, you should have been gone yesterday. Like, you shouldn't even be talking to me about it. You should just go. And so, went back to Sacramento, got the rest of my stuff, packed it all up. I was like, I'm one-way trip out, not coming back. And I left. And, man, I get off the bus in Seattle. This is for the second time I get out here. It's like early June. And, I'm supposed to catch an Uber to the ferry terminal. And then from the ferry terminal, go out to, it's all the way across Seattle, a whole different city. And my uncle and his friend, they have a place out there. And I was going to stay with them for like a week and then go to the interviews, get myself a job, and then move back to Seattle. On the, I'm waiting for the Uber. I'm sitting there. It's raining. It's pouring down rain. I got off the Greyhound bus. It's pouring down rain. I'm Ubering. And I see the Uber driver. He's coming by. And I'm like calling him. He's calling me like, come on to the other side of the street. I'm like, nah, I can't cross the street. We trying to do a whole bunch of stuff with the Uber. And then my battery dies. My phone battery dies. I'm in the middle of the rain. I don't know where I'm at. Like, I don't know how to get anywhere. My phone battery dies. It's like 7, 8 p.m. at night. So it's starting to get late. My uncle's waiting for me on the other side of the ferry, on the other side of the water. He's waiting for me. Him and his girlfriend. I'm like, man, I don't even have no way of contacting them. There wasn't nothing open. I'm looking for like a place to charge my phone. I'm like asking people like, how do I get to the ferry terminal from here? I got my luggage with me rolling through Seattle. And so I see the subway. I walk into the subway and go in there real quick. I know the story's long. I'm just speaking to those of y'all who are still with me. Those of y'all who are still with me, because this is my story. I walk into this subway, light lit up. I'm like, okay, I need to charge my phone real quick. When I go into Subway's line packed, so I look over here, it's a little ice cream shop. It's a little sister over there in the ice cream shop. And she's smiling. I'm like, hey, can you charge this phone for me? And she's like, sure, come on in, charge the phone. She's like, where you from? I was like, California, I just got in on the bus. And she's like, okay, cool. We exchange numbers real quick and chop it up. I say all that to say that the lady who was at the ice cream shop, her name's Zara. She ended up being the person who opens up her house for me to stay with her and her father in Seattle. So the moment I get to Seattle, I run into somebody who ends up giving me their apartment. The moment I get there. I'm going there to Seattle with I don't even know what to do. So I first wasn't even aware of it. We just exchanging it. We cool. Go across the water, get to my uncle's. I'm literally commuting about 2.5 hours every day trying to get to Seattle, figure out this job situation. There's plenty of jobs in Seattle. If you want to move to a city and just go to somewhere and start working, you can go to Seattle and just start working. If you want just a regular job, get away and start working, you can do that. You can go to Seattle and start working the day you get here. They got construction jobs. There's construction all over the city you can do. The pay is good here. There's hospitality services jobs all over the city you can do. It's just you have to want it. You can come out here and be homeless if you want to. There's so many resources in Seattle that when I came out here, I was like, my goodness. I didn't realize how many resources there were. You can get an apartment. They'll take care of first last month rent here. But in the time I've been here in Seattle, I've been here 1 year. I haven't paid $1 towards rent. I haven't paid $1 towards rent. In the time I've been here, I did, when I first got here, I worked a couple of little minute jobs, little side jobs or whatever. But what ended up happening was, I ended up coming over here with Zara and her dad, and we ran this whole apartment. I said, I don't have an apartment, I have a factory. We were Airbnb in one room, renting out the other room. We had friends staying in the living room. This thing was a factory. I was working on my businesses. I was working on my ministries. And everybody in the house was working and grinding. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we came here. And so I'm sitting back while this is happening, while we making money, while we're growing, while I'm able to invest in my businesses. And I'm sitting here like, all this is only a product of faith. All this is only a result of faith. A year ago, May 29th, I don't have a place to stay. All I had was a command to go. That's all I had was a command to go. God took me out here, and literally gave me the funds on the way of me getting here. Gave me the funds on the way. My phone battery died. I'm trying to catch the Uber to the ferry terminal. I end up having to go into this Subway store and meet the person who literally opens up their whole home, their whole family. And just like, hey, stay here. Like, you know, we working, grinding, stay here, get your stuff together, and let's make it happen. This is what God is putting in my life. This is not what I've made. I didn't plan none of this stuff. This is God saying, you know, Stanley, you continue to follow Spirit. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to put people, it might be the most unlikely people in the world. Everything that happened out here in Seattle was unlikely for me. It wasn't what I was planning on. I came out here to get a job in youth mentorship. I haven't done that I haven't done any of that. That ended in a couple of weeks. I was able to start my own things and do my own things out here in Seattle. Now, Seattle is racist as can be. Seattle is, I've lived in Arkansas, I lived in LA, and Seattle was the most I've dealt with the most racism here in Seattle than anywhere else. I mean, direct racism. I mean, you walk in somewhere, they don't want to serve you. They let you know the whole time you're there, they don't want to serve you. You see fights out here almost on a daily of just racial tension. You see shootings out here on the news on the daily of racial tension. Just a black man, white man fighting. Out here at the IHOP that I always go to, there was a big old fight in there just because, you know, white man said something smart to black man. The tension is high. Whole IHOP was in a fight. The tension is high out here. So what you get to see is you get to see how white people are moving militantly. You get to see, because this is one of their pride cities. This is one of their cities where it's like, this is us. This is, you know, this is white people. We created this. We have it on lock. We run this. You know, the brothers at the barbershop, they were telling me about how gentrified it got. They told me that they're like, this whole district was all black businesses over here. And in the early 90s, they moved everybody out. If you're coming to Seattle, I would say, don't expect a black community. A lot of the blacks here, they hide behind other groups. And this is all across the country, but they hide behind other groups. Everybody's a part of like LGBTQ. Everybody's a part of a religious denomination. No one really wants to just be black. Black is looked down upon. Black is like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Black isn't something, there's no identity in that for people. Everyone here has a different identity. They all claim something different. Oh, I'm queer. I'm woo-woo. I don't really worry about that. I'm with this community. And so people shy away from who they are. They shy away from being the African people who they are. The African descended people who they are. And that's a big mistake because the world deals with us as African people. The world deals with us as descendants of African people. And there's a hatred. There's a despise. There's also a fear that we rise up because of what our history is. Our potential's we've already hit our potential before in history. You know what I'm saying? We're continuing to grow. We're going to continue to hit our potential again. But I'm saying we've already made strides that people can't replicate. We have buildings, pyramids from Australia to Africa, to Mexico, to New Mexico, to Colorado, to up the Mississippi River. We got stuff with black people on the wall that they can't even replicate. Buildings, tunnels, they don't even know when these things were created, some of them. They're trying to figure out how do all these buildings align with the star systems and the solar systems in the sky. Like, we've already done stuff, and they know that potential. So they know, hey, if black people wake up and start understanding who they are, what they've been as a people, they're not going to accept anything like this. They're not going to accept no Stefan Clark dying in Sacramento. They're not going to accept white supremacy telling them to be peaceful and passive when the police kills one of their members in their community. They're not going to accept that nonsense. They're not going to accept being under white men. They're not going to accept that. Okay? I know I kind of went off a little bit on a tangent at the end here, but you know, my review of Seattle is the same for anywhere. When the Spirit of God is leading you to go somewhere, go. No fear. Don't worry about money. Money is really nothing. If you're worried about money, you're at a low frequency. You're at a very low frequency. You're at a frequency where it's like you're in the worry stage. You're in survival stage if you're worried about money. Don't worry about money. I've been out here in Seattle, and I've stayed at probably since I've been out here, I was at 4 different apartments in the meantime. Like I said, I didn't cover everything in the whole year. I tried to hit the highlights, but in the 4 months, in the four different places I stayed, all the places was God opening them up. My first day working out here, I was working at this construction site out here. It's a brother who took me in when I first came out here. We were working together on this rooftop doing construction, 100 degrees, hot out there. And we started talking, and the brother's like, he said, you said, I said something about Sacramento. He said, I'm from Sac. I was like, where you from? He said, Sac. He showed me his ID. He's from like literally right where I'm from, like literally right there. And I was like, wow, he just, about 10, 15 years older than me. But he took me in. He's the one who took me in, showed me Seattle. He was a street dude too. He was like a real street dude. So I couldn't stay at his place too long. But he was the person who showed me love when I first got out here. He was the person who literally took me to different places. Hey, get your stuff set up here. Get your ID set up over here. Get this, get this. He took me around, and I was like, what's your name? His name was Truth. So this is my first day working out here. I've worked this job for a few weeks. And then I had to quit because the white dude was yelling at us. And see, this is the thing. I was like, there's nothing worth losing your integrity over. I'm not going to sit here and be doing construction work and have some white man yelling at me the whole day. I dropped one of the doors and left. I was like, I'm not going to do this. Most people had to stay there and do that type of work and take that type of verbal abuse. I was like, I'm good. I'll figure it out another way. I don't need this $100. I'll figure this out another way. Because my integrity is more important. My spirit and integrity is not for sale. It's worth more than $15 an hour. It's worth more than $1,000 an hour. You understand? Like, my spirit is unlimited abundance. I own all things in the world with my spirit. If I give up my spirit, then I will trade it in for $15 an hour or $20 an hour. You understand what I'm saying? But you never want to lose your spirit. Never lose your spirit. And you lose your spirit when you don't follow your spirit. That's what I'm trying to say with this whole thing. You lose your spirit when you don't follow it. If I would have stayed in Seattle, if I would have stayed in Sacramento, I would have lost my spirit. Spirit was telling me to go. Spirit of God was telling me to go. If I would have resisted that, it would have been a slow death. I came out here. I've only continued to grow. Continue to grow. Continue to live. Live more fully. Live more abundantly. Everything for me has only grown here. My relationships have grown here. More health here. More abundance financially here. Better relationships with my family. Since I've been out here, everything has moved in the right direction as I followed spirit. Not man-made traditions, not what was logical, not what was the wisest. There were certain people who were wise. I respect them as people, but they gave me bad advice on my move out here. They were like, don't go. I'm like, the Spirit of God told me to go. They were like, don't go. That was bad advice for me. I came out here and life changed for me. There's so many things going on. I can't wait for y'all to see some of the stuff that we got going on. But everything is glory to God. Everything is glory to God, okay? No fear. No fear. Only confidence. Remember, God does not give you a spirit of fear. All right? So I just encourage you all, make that move wherever it is. Make that move. Maybe not Seattle. I don't think Seattle's long-term for me. But, wherever it is for you. Wherever God's leading you, do not hold back for family. Don't hold back for friends. Don't hold back for nobody. No relationship, nothing. All right? I'm going to leave it at that. It's the 1-year review of Seattle. We'll have more to come. Is there anything else I want to say about Seattle? Come out here and enjoy it. Come out here and enjoy it. Maybe visit. Make your money. A lot of people out here are money focused, is what I'll say. That's another thing. A lot of people out here are money focused. You got a lot of East Africans out here. You got a lot of people here from India. And, they're about their money. They're about starting businesses. They're about ownership. Every single black person needs to be thinking about business ownership. Because you have to own something. You don't own nothing. Slavery was all about ownership. Just the slaves couldn't own something. You could work a job. You could go rent your work out and get paid to eat or to live. But you couldn't own your own business. And to this day, most black people don't own anything. They don't own their house. They don't own their car. They don't own their job. They don't own their work. They don't own this. And this is what I want you to own first. This is what I want you to own first, black people. Whether it's here in Seattle, whether you're listening from Arkansas, whether you're listening from Sacramento. Own this first. Own yourself first. All right? All right. Blessings, y'all. I'll talk with y'all soon.